Captain James Reed stood on the bridge of the Pioneer, watching the dead planet grow larger on the view screen. The planet had no name, only a number in the star charts. Sector 447, World 9. It was gray and lifeless, floating alone in the dark. Scans show structures on the surface. "Captain," said Lieutenant Tom Walsh from his station. "Big ones. Really big." James nodded slowly. The Pioneer was Earth's newest deep space vessel, sent to explore regions no human had ever seen. They had been traveling for 6 months, mapping new systems, when they found this place. "Any life signs?" James asked. "Nothing. The planet's been dead for at least 10,000 years. Tom looked up from his screen. "But those structures? They're intact. Someone built to last." The crew of the Pioneer was small, just 20 humans, all volunteers. They were scientists, soldiers, and explorers. Earth had joined the galactic community only 15 years ago, and humanity was still considered young and primitive by the older races. The tall, proud Allure had welcomed them with polite smiles. The massive Theron had patted them on the head like children. The wise Kelvin had given them advice about growing up slowly. James had always felt something was wrong about it all. The way the aliens looked at humans. The way they spoke in careful, measured words. The way they kept certain sectors of space off dash limits. Now, standing before this dead world, he felt that wrongness grow stronger. "Take us down," he ordered. "Landing team, suit up." The structures were enormous. They rose from the gray dust like metal mountains, each one the size of a city. The landing team walked through corridors wide enough to drive trucks through. Emergency lights still functioned after all these centuries, flickering on as the humans passed. "This was a research facility," said Dr. Lisa Grant, the Pioneer's lead scientist. She studied the alien symbols on the walls. "I can read some of this. It's old Kelvin script. The Kelvin. The wise ones. The teachers of the galaxy. They found the archive in the deepest level of the largest structure. It was a vast chamber filled with data cores, each one containing millions of records. The computers still worked, powered by generators that had run for 10,000 years without stopping. Lisa connected her equipment to the archive. Data began flowing to her tablet. She read in silence for 1 minute. Then 2. Her face went pale. "Oh God," she whispered. "Oh God, no. What is it?" James asked, moving closer. Lisa looked up at him, and James saw tears in her eyes. "Captain, you need to see this. Everyone needs to see this." She turned the tablet so the whole team could view the screen. What they saw would change everything. The archive contained the complete history of the galaxy. The real history. For 60 million years, the Galactic Council had ruled the stars. They were not the wise teachers they pretended to be. They were farmers, herders, slavers. Across thousands of worlds, the Council had planted life, guided evolution, and shaped species. When these species became intelligent, the Council studied them. Then they used them. Some races became food. Others became slaves. Some were used for medical experiments. Others were kept in zoos for entertainment. The younger races never knew. They were given technology, welcomed into galactic society, and told they were special. They were given seats on minor councils and made to feel important. For a few centuries, they enjoyed their place among the stars. Then came the harvest. The archive showed the process in detail. A plague would appear, carefully designed to target one specific species. Within months, 90% would die. The survivors would be rounded up and relocated to protected worlds, prison planets, where they would live out their short lives in comfort before the species went extinct. Meanwhile, their homeworld would be given to another species loyal to the Council. The galactic community would mourn the tragedy. Life would continue. James scrolled through the list of harvested species. He saw hundreds of names, races he had never heard of, civilizations erased from existence. Then he saw the schedule for future. Harvest.Earth was on the list. Harvest date, 50 years from now. Status, delayed due to unexpected technological advancement. Species showing problematic independence. Recommend acceleration of schedule if possible. They're going to kill us, Tom whispered. They were always going to kill us. Lisa was reading more files, her hands shaking. The Kelvin created this facility. They documented everything. There are breeding programs, experiment results, harvest efficiency reports. This one planet alone processed 30 different species. James felt cold fury building in his chest. He thought about Earth, his home, his family. 7 billion humans living their lives, making plans, dreaming dreams, all scheduled to die. Copy everything, James ordered, his voice hard as steel. Every single file. We're taking this home. What are we going to do? Tom asked. James looked at the data scrolling across the screens. He thought about the Alari with their polite smiles, the Thurin with their condescending pets, the Kelvin with their lies. We're going to show Earth the truth, he said quietly. And then the galaxy is going to burn for what it's done. Asterisk the HFY the Pioneer returned to Earth 3 weeks later. James had sent the data ahead through encrypted channels, but he knew words on a screen were not enough. Humanity needed to see. Humanity needed to understand. The ship landed at Geneva, where the United Earth government was waiting. Every nation had sent representatives. Every leader had read the files. The mood in the assembly hall was dark and silent. James stood before them and played the archive. He showed them the breeding farms where intelligent beings were raised like cattle. He showed them the experiment logs where species were tested to destruction. He showed them the harvest schedules. He showed them Earth's name on the list. When he finished, nobody spoke for a long time. Finally, President Miller of North America stood. How long do we have? 50 years was the original schedule, James said. But the Kelvin marked us as problematic. They might move faster. Then we move faster first, said Premier Zhao of the Asian Union. We prepare. We arm. We strike before they expect it. For the first time in human history, there was no debate. No arguments about borders or resources or old grudges. Every nation understood the truth now. United or dead. Those are the only choices. Within 24 hours, Earth's economy shifted to total war production. Factories that made cars began making warships. Scientists who studied medicine began studying weapons. Every resource, every mind, every hand turned toward one goal, survival. But James had another mission in mind. We're not just fighting for Earth, he told the War Council 2 weeks later. We're fighting for every species the Council has enslaved. If we free them, they'll fight with us. General Brooks frowned. Where are these slaves? James pulled up a star map. Red dots marked dozens of systems. The archive had locations. Prison worlds, breeding facilities, experiment stations. Some are close. We can hit them now, before the Council realizes what we're doing. It's risky, Brooks said. We're not ready for war yet. Neither are they, James replied. They think we're primitives. They think we don't know. That's our advantage. The Council approved the mission. James took the Pioneer and 3 new warships, the Vengeance, the Freedom, and the Reckoning. All 4 ships were equipped with weapons Earth had hidden from the galaxy. Nuclear missiles, kinetic kill vehicles, and railguns that could punch through any known shield. Their first target was a prison. World in Sector 229. The archive called it. Processing Station 7, 3, 1,000 beings from a dozen different species were kept there, waiting to be shipped to various council worlds. The Pioneer dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Sensors immediately picked up the station, a massive ring orbiting a dead moon. 2 Alari patrol ships guarded it. "Hail them," James ordered. Standard greeting protocols. The Alari commander appeared on screen, tall and elegant with golden skin and bright eyes. "Human vessel, this is a restricted zone. You must leave immediately." James smiled coldly. No. Before the Alari could respond, the Vengeance fired. Railgun rounds crossed the distance in seconds, moving at a fraction of light speed. The first Alari ship exploded. The second tried to run, but the Freedom caught it with a nuclear missile. Both ships died in silence. "Take us to the station," James said. "Marines, prepare for boarding." The station's defenses were minimal. The Council had never expected an attack. Within an hour, human soldiers controlled every section. They found the prisoners in holding cells thin. Scared beings who had given up hope. James walked through the cells with a translator device. "We're humans from Earth," he told them. "We know what the Council is. We know what they do. We are here to free you." A 4-armed creature with gray skin looked up at him. "Free us? Why?" "What do you want?" "We want allies," James said simply. "We want friends. We want justice. The Council planned to harvest my world. They've harvested hundreds of others. That ends now." The creature stared at him for a long moment. Then it stood. "I am called Gray. My people were taken 300 years ago. We thought we were the only ones who knew the truth." "You're not alone anymore," James said. Over the next month, the human fleet struck 6 more facilities. Each time, they freed the prisoners. Each time, those prisoners chose to fight. The freed beings taught humans about Council technology, Council tactics, Council weaknesses. In return, humans shared their weapons, and their Fury. News spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The primitives from Earth had gone mad. They were attacking Council facilities. They were freeing slaves. They were killing Alari and Theron and even Kelvin without mercy. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. The great leaders gathered in their crystal towers and debated what to do about the human problem. They decided humanity needed to be taught a lesson. They sent a battle fleet to Earth-50 warships, enough to burn continents from orbit. The fleet was led by Admiral Kren, a Theran who had crushed a dozen rebellions in his long career. Kren entered the solar system expecting fear. He found something else. Earth had spent 5 weeks preparing. The moon bristled with railgun platforms. Mars housed nuclear missile batteries. Every asteroid in the belt had been rigged as a kinetic weapon. And waiting in formation around Earth were 30 human warships, each one built for war. Kren broadcast his surrender demand. "Humans of Earth, you have violated Council law. You will stand down and accept punishment, or we will destroy your world." President Miller answered from Earth's surface. "We know what you are, Kren. We know what you've done. You want our world? Come and take it." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 47 Council ships were debris. 3 escaped. Kren's flagship burned in Earth's atmosphere, a shooting star that lit the night sky. Humanity had won its first real battle, but the war had just begun. The Biernayan the Council made its next mistake 6 months after Earth's victory. They believed humanity was lucky. They believed numbers would win. They sent 500 warships to crush the human rebellion once, and for all dot, they sent them to the wrong place. While the massive fleet traveled toward Earth, human strike forces hit the Council homeworlds. The attack was coordinated across 20 systems simultaneously. Humanity had learned the locations of every important world from the archive, and they had spent 6 months building weapons specifically designed to destroy them. The Kelvin homeworld of Calvara was first. It was a beautiful planet of crystal cities and ancient forests, home to 3 billion beings who considered themselves the wisest in the galaxy. Captain Maria Torres led the assault with 10 warships and 200 freed slaves, piloting captured vessels. They bypassed the orbital defenses using stealth technology humans had invented in secret. By the time the Kelvin realized they were under attack, human missiles were already falling. Maria broadcast one message before the strike. This is for every species you harvested, for every life you erased, for every crime you hid behind wisdom. The crystal cities shattered. The forests burned. Calvara's government centers were reduced to craters. Maria didn't target civilians, but she made sure the Council's power base was destroyed completely. The same scene played out across the galaxy. The Alari homeworld burned. The Thuran capital fell. Every major Council world felt humanity's wrath in one terrible night. By the time the Council fleet reached Earth, they found the solar system empty, except for automated defenses. The human ships were gone, scattered across the galaxy, hitting target after target. Admiral Viaran, who now commanded the Council forces, realized too late what humans really were. Not primitives. Not lucky warriors. They were something the galaxy had never seen before. A species that had survived thousands of years of total war among themselves. A species that had split atoms and burned cities, and still chose to keep fighting. A species that knew how to hate. The Council tried to negotiate. They sent ambassadors to Earth offering peace, offering technology, offering anything humans wanted. President Miller received them in a bunker deep beneath Geneva. The ambassadors were Kelvin, tall and elegant, speaking in measured tones about unfortunate misunderstandings and regrettable historical practices. Miller let them finish. Then he stood and spoke with cold fury. You want peace? Here are our terms. Every slave goes free. Every prison world is opened. Every species you erased, we want their stories told. We want monuments. We want the galaxy to remember what you did. The Kelvin ambassador blinked. That is acceptable. We can agree to this. I'm not finished, Miller said. Every council member who knew about the harvests faces trial. Every facility that processed species is destroyed. Every archive is open to public access. The council is dissolved. Forever. Impossible. The ambassador protested. The galaxy needs order. Without the council, there will be chaos. Miller smiled without warmth. Then there will be chaos. The old order ends today, one way or another. Accept our terms, or we burn every council world to ash. We've already started. You have 24 hours to decide. The ambassador left in shock. The council debated through the night. Some wanted to keep fighting. Others saw the truth. Humanity couldn't be stopped. Not because they had better technology or more ships, but because they were willing to pay any price for freedom. The council surrendered 18 hours later. The war didn't end cleanly. Some council loyalists kept fighting for another year. Humanity hunted them down with help from freed species. Every battle was brutal. Every victory was earned in blood. But slowly, the galaxy changed. James Reed, now promoted to admiral, oversaw the liberation of the last prison world 2 years after the war began. He watched as thousands of beings walked free for the first time in generations. Many of them were from species humanity had never met before. An old preacher with 6 legs and tired eyes approached him. What happens now, human? Who rules us next? No one rules you, James said. You rule yourselves. That's the point. But the galaxy needs order, the preacher insisted. We need laws. We need protection. Then we'll build something new, James replied. Together. Every species has a voice. Every world has a vote. No more secrets. No more harvests. No more lies. It took 5 more years to build the new council. It was messy and loud and full of arguments. Representatives from 300 species gathered on a neutral world and shouted at each other about laws and rights and justice. But it was real. It was honest. And it was free. Earth became the unofficial guardian of the new order. Human fleets patrolled the spaceways, not as conquerors, but as protectors. When pirates threatened trade routes, humans stopped them. When old council loyalists tried to restart the harvest programs, humans burned them out. The galaxy learned a new truth. Humans were terrifying in war, but they were fair in peace. They kept their promises. They protected the weak. They remembered what it felt like to be prey, and they refused to let it happen again. James retired from active duty 10 years after discovering the archive. He returned to Earth and stood in a memorial garden built to honor the harvested species. 300 monuments filled the garden, one for each race the council had erased. A young reporter found him there and asked him a question. Admiral Reed, some people say humanity went too far, that we became monsters to fight monsters. What do you think? James looked at the monuments for a long time. We did what we had to do, he said quietly. The galaxy was built on lies and blood. We tore it down. Yes, we were brutal. Yes, we were ruthless. But we gave the galaxy something it never had before. A choice. Freedom or death. Equality or fire. And you do it again? The reporter asked. James met her eyes. Every single time. The galaxy can hate us if it wants. Let them call us monsters. At least the children of every species will grow up free. That's worth any price. He turned back to the monuments. Behind him, ships rose into the sky, carrying humans and aliens together toward the stars. The galaxy had burned, but from the ashes, something better was growing, and humanity stood guard, making sure the fire never went out. Asterisk,